And let's check in on the Trump campaign and the Republican strategy with Sean Spicer. He's communications director for the Republican National Committee. Sean, nice to see you.
Great to see you.
The day before, we were just talking during commercial break about how much longer. Let's strategy if we can. What is the ground game for Donald Trump, and how does it stack up against the Democrats?
I think it stacks up phenomenally. In 2012, we had 876 staff. Now we have 6,012. So as you can tell, exponentially larger. We made 11.5 door knocks in 2012. We're on pace to exceed 17 million. So our ground game has expanded tremendously. We're able to go to more and more houses. And I think when you look at the early vote in key states, in every one of those key battleground states, our early vote returns and our absentee ballot returns are up. And that's in large part because that ground game brings home that key vote. I think that's what's allowing us. You got the candidate, a message that's resonating, and an infrastructure that are combining to make sure that we can expand that map. So we're talking about states like Colorado and Michigan and Pennsylvania, New Mexico, that weren't part of the equation 3 months ago.
What about Minnesota? Let's talk about a state that really wasn't part of the equation. Hasn't voted for a Republican since, what, 1972?
Right.
Trump went there yesterday. Pence is there today. Real Clear Politics has their polling average with Clinton leading by 6 points there. What are you seeing that we're not seeing?
Right. In all of these states, I mean, Michigan, 1988 was the last time a Republican, and I feel very good about Michigan right now.
Why?
Because I think that it's a combination of those two things. You've got a candidate and a message and an infrastructure that are colliding at a key time. The country wants change. And I think Donald Trump's got a message of change, and the Republican National Committee has an infrastructure, a data infrastructure, a ground game infrastructure that is able to take his message and bring it to as many homes as possible. But again, look, 2 weeks ago when Donald Trump went to Michigan and talked about going to Colorado and New Mexico, everybody laughed for a moment. And then the next day, the Democrats went back up on TV, Priorities USA doubled down, and the President of the United States is going there. So the two most valuable assets you have on a campaign are time and money. And what are they doing? They're doubling down on reliably blue states because they realize that the map has expanded.
But when you look, if we bore down on or I don't know what the term, zero in on Michigan for a second. You've got Detroit. You've got the suburbs of Detroit. I mean, you don't
all
have
people who want change. I mean, look, if you live in Michigan right now, if you live in Detroit, at some point you're saying, you know what, I've had enough of Democrats controlling this place. Maybe it's time that Republicans came in and we gave them a chance. And I think that you're seeing that, and you saw it in Rick Schneider. He came in, he's done a phenomenal job as governor, and Donald Trump's got a message of change.
Who hasn't said who he's voting for, by the way.
But we have an infrastructure there. We've been working that state. Donald Trump comes in and he gives a lot of these guys a message of hope, a message of change. And they've fallen for the same tricks in Detroit over and over again. Vote for us and we'll bring change. And it hasn't happened. They're ready for change.
So the candidate, his message that we just a little while ago we were taking before you got here, we were taking part of his speech in Raleigh, North Carolina. Part of his closing argument seems to be the system is rigged. Right. He's still saying that. Is that the best way to get last minute voters?
I think for a lot of people, they do feel like the system's rigged and against them. And it taps into a feeling that a lot of Americans feel that they have a government that's stacked against them, regulations and policies that don't work for them. And so in a lot of ways, what Donald Trump is doing is channeling the frustration and concerns that, frankly, a lot of Americans have felt as though that they've had a government that's been unresponsive to them, that policies have left them behind, whether it's they haven't seen an increase in their job, their kid can't go to the school of their choice, a health care system that was promised to be affordable, that wasn't going to lose their doctor, and now both have happened. So I think to a lot of extent, he's channeling the frustrations of the American people.
So just real quickly, I asked Ben LeBolt for his map. When he looks at our map, what he sees that he would say is different. Where do you see the wins coming tomorrow?
Like I said, I think it's not just, I believe Michigan's going to a state that comes home for us. I think Colorado's one that I would watch. I feel very good about North Carolina, despite the Democratic promises. And then again, you look at Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Mexico, all states that are coming home, all states that Obama carried twice, that Donald Trump's now got within the margin of error, and in every single one of them, Kate, every one of them, bar none, Donald Trump's got the momentum going with him.
We'll see tomorrow how your map looks compared to the results. Thanks so much, Sean Spicer. Appreciate it. Communications Director for the RNC. Up next, we're